Welcome to our US Briefing Show, everyone. Today, we're diving into some exciting and intriguing news from around the world. First up, North Korea has launched multiple short-range ballistic missiles off its east coast, flying about 800 kilometers before landing in the sea. This test has caught the attention of South Korea, the US, and Japan, raising concerns about missile technology development and possible weapon supply to Russia. It's a tense situation that keeps everyone on alert. Next, we turn to Hainan, China's tropical island, which is making big moves to attract Chinese shoppers amid the trade war. With new policies like zero tariffs and relaxed visas, Hainan aims to become the world's largest free trade port. While U.S. goods prices remain stable for now, locals and tourists are hopeful that cheaper products will boost tourism and retail. It's a strategic effort to turn trade tensions into opportunities. Finally, Indonesia has been crowned the most flourishing country in the world. Based on a study measuring happiness, health, and social bonds, Indonesians are thriving thanks to strong community ties and spiritual values. This challenges the idea that wealth equals happiness, showing us that community and morals are just as important. It's a beautiful reminder of what truly makes a nation flourish. Please continue to watch for more detailed insights and updates. Deutsche Welle vividly reports North Korea's recent missile launches, revealing a series of short-range ballistic missiles fired off its eastern coast, covering distances up to 800 kilometers before plunging into the sea. These launches, presumed to be tests of missile performance and flight stability, have sparked international concern, especially as experts speculate that North Korea may be testing weapons for export to Russia, potentially for use in Ukraine. Despite UN Security Council bans on such missile programs, North Korea continues to advance its arsenal, with recent investigations indicating that Russian-fired North Korean missiles in Ukraine are showing notable improvements in accuracy, fueling fears of escalating military support and geopolitical tensions. South China Morning Post paints a compelling picture of Hainan Island's strategic pivot amid the ongoing US-China trade war. The island, renowned for its tropical allure and duty-free shopping, is set to launch its own customs regime to sidestep Beijing's retaliatory tariffs on American goods. This move aims to transform Hainan into a global hub for duty-free retail and offshore finance, attracting tourists eager for cheaper iPhones and luxury cosmetics. Despite recent setbacks, duty-free sales declining due to reduced domestic and international travel, the region's policymakers remain optimistic. They believe that enhanced incentives, expanded duty-free stores, and relaxed visa policies will rekindle the island's appeal, leveraging its prior pandemic-driven surge in domestic tourism and its reputation as a shopping paradise to bolster economic recovery. South China Morning Post also highlights Indonesia's remarkable achievement as the world's most flourishing country, according to a pioneering global study. The research, based on over 200,000 responses across 23 nations, emphasizes that Indonesia excels not just in economic terms but in overall life satisfaction, social bonds, and religious participation. The study underscores that Indonesians value community, generosity, and social cohesion more than material wealth, with strong cultural practices like gratitude and acceptance fostering resilience amid adversity. Sociologists note that Indonesia's emphasis on collective well-being and spiritual values contributes to its high flourishing scores, challenging the notion that wealth alone determines happiness. The findings suggest that fostering social ties and moral virtues can be as vital as economic growth in achieving societal well-being, offering a nuanced perspective on development and happiness. The South China Morning Post reports that China's consumer prices declined slightly in April, signaling potential deflation amidst ongoing trade tensions with the United States. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, fell by 0.1% year-on-year, with food prices dropping by 0.2% and service prices increasing modestly. Despite some positive signs in specific sectors like electric cars and food processing, the overall inflation remains subdued, compounded by a 2.7% drop in producer prices for factories, marking the 30th consecutive month of contraction. The Chinese government has responded with various measures to stimulate domestic demand, including subsidies for large purchases and tourism incentives, aiming to counteract the economic impact of high tariffs and trade restrictions that have led to rising stockpiles and sluggish growth. The CPI target for 2025 has been lowered to 2%, reflecting the cautious economic outlook amid persistent external pressures. Yahoo US details the ongoing federal investigation into New York City Mayor Eric Adams, revealing a complex web of alleged misconduct involving campaign finance, foreign influence, and official favors. Over 1,700 pages of documents released by the Department of Justice expose FBI raids and legal scrutiny surrounding Adams' possible involvement in straw donations, Turkish government perks, and efforts to secure favorable school placements for a Turkish diplomat's child. The documents highlight a tense confrontation over Adams' personal cell phone, with investigators seeking to determine its whereabouts amidst conflicting explanations from the mayor and his aides. Despite the case being dismissed last month, the extensive evidence suggests that Adams' relationship with federal authorities remains complicated, and his political alliances, particularly with former President Trump, are under intense scrutiny. The revelations have fueled criticism from political opponents who accuse Adams of compromising his independence to maintain favor with powerful foreign and domestic interests. South China Morning Post also reports that a federal judge in California has temporarily halted President Donald Trump's sweeping plans to drastically reduce the federal workforce. Judge Susan Ilston's emergency order prevents agencies from implementing or enforcing the administration's executive order aimed at shrinking government size, citing concerns over unchecked presidential authority and the need for constitutional checks and balances. The order impacts agencies like Health and Human Services and the Environmental Protection Agency, where thousands of jobs are slated for elimination or reorganization. While the government argues that the directives are broad guidelines, critics contend that the administration is overstepping its authority by bypassing proper legislative processes. This legal intervention underscores the contentious debate over government downsizing, with unions and city governments challenging the Trump administration's efforts to reshape the federal employment landscape amidst broader political battles over executive power and fiscal responsibility. According to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Australia's beef industry is experiencing an unprecedented surge in exports, with over 127,000 tons shipped last month, setting a new record for April. The United States remains the largest buyer, importing 37,213 tons, followed by China with 21,572 tons. Despite this impressive growth, analysts like Tim Jackson suggest that the rise is primarily due to record supply levels rather than the influence of Trump's tariffs or trade wars. The country's feedlot sector also saw remarkable activity, exporting more than 37,000 tons of grain-fed beef, a monthly high, with China purchasing a third of this volume, marking a 36% increase compared to the previous year. Meanwhile, U.S. beef exports to China have declined, with Chinese importers canceling orders for 5,500 tons, but other markets like South Korea and Japan have stepped in to absorb the lost volumes. Concurrently, cattle sales are booming across southern Australia, driven by persistent drought conditions that have forced farmers to liquidate herds, with record yardings at Wagga Wagga and Wodonga. Prices remain steady thanks to demand from northern feedlots, though overall cattle indicators have slightly eased, reflecting a complex and dynamic livestock market. Meanwhile, in the United States, a federal court in San Francisco has issued a temporary restraining order against much of the Trump administration's efforts to drastically downsize the federal workforce, as reported by Yahoo US. Judge Susan Ilston's order halts large-scale layoffs and restructuring plans across numerous agencies, including the Department of Health and Human Services, which had announced plans to lay off 10,000 workers. The court emphasized that the president must seek congressional approval for such significant changes, asserting that executive actions must follow lawful procedures and constitutional processes. The downsizing has already resulted in tens of thousands of federal employees leaving or being furloughed, with impacts evident in delayed services, longer wait times, and reduced staff in critical agencies. The government argued that their plans were merely guidelines inviting input, but plaintiffs, including labor unions and city governments, contended that the administration was overstepping authority by bypassing congressional approval and long-established procedures. The order covers a broad range of departments and agencies, highlighting ongoing legal battles over the scope and legality of the Trump administration's efforts to reshape the federal workforce. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6-do brief via email.
Empty smiles, their words misleading. Power games in